Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Matter Africa. I'm Zuwaira Hamza. Today on the show, we'll be talking about actualizing your passion, talent as an African woman. And discussing this topic today with me is Mrs. Chinyere Obi Obasi. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Zuwaira.
Can we know a little about you?
My name is Chinyere Obi Obasi, like you know. I used to be Chinyere Iwala. I have 3 degrees, which I read at a stretch. I graduated at the age of 27. I read English, I read law, and went to law school. And immediately after, I practiced law for 7 years, worked in the bank for 13 years, resigned 2014 to become a full-time writer, MC, comedian, public speaker, repertoire. I even went to an acting school. And I think I've done 1 or 2 films, taking part in 1 or 2 films. I got married the year I was called to the bar, and I have 5 children.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I've heard that a lot about you, though. There's a part of you being a parental coach. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, honestly, it's strange because answering parental coach.
Yes.
I think what happens is that on Facebook, I do a lot of write-ups about my children.
Okay.
And the way we have successfully bonded. And the way we have, I have tried to help them to look at their callings and then start early. And so people who are reading me by the sides think that, oh, she has a lot to offer when it comes to parenting. Yes, I've read a lot of parenting books, but I've not intentionally, gone to a school to get all of those 7 steps of. But what happens is when people have events on parenting, they invite me to come and speak. And I think my favorite topic in parenting is bonding. Because they tell me, how do you get your children? I say, no, the first thing is you bond with your child. When you bond with your child, you will have a good time. And then they ask me how the teenage years, all those, I tell them that I don't know the teenage years. The teenage years just passed, because when you have gained the child's confidence when they were small,
yes,
chances are that when they become big, they trust you.
Yes.
They trust mommy, because mommy in the past has proved to be a good mommy. Yeah. You complimented them when they needed to. You supported them when they needed to. You scolded them and gave them reasons why what they have done is bad. And so by the time they are becoming adolescents and grown-up people, they are likely to listen to you.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't say I have perfect children or that I'm a perfect mother.
Yes.
I'm just saying the things that have helped me.
Okay. Now, you talked about being a banker before then you resigned to become an author. What informed that decision?
Well, I didn't resign to become an author. While I was in the bank, I was already a writer.
Okay.
Because you have, every man has their talent, they have their gifts, and you are expected to work along those lines.
Yes.
I gave the bank 13 years of my life. Wow. I think I've tried now. I've tried. So gave them 13 years of my life, and then I believe that I should now step into other areas.
Yes.
And then I wrote a book that took me like 10 years, more than 10 years, but let's put it at 10 years, even with talent.
I was getting to that.
Yes, and I launched it June 6th. And I also looked at the fact that I'm sitting down in the confines of the bank, sipping tea, enjoying the air condition, and I'm telling people, discover your passion, run with it. I'll be a poor example of what I am preaching. Yes. But really, what happens is that I am talented as a writer. I started writing from when I was young. I started presenting and doing all of those kind of things, creative things, when I was young. But my time is different from yours. In my time, you were either a lawyer or a doctor, yes, or an engineer. In my time, you can't have this profession. I'm just on TV. They say, what's that? So if I was in this time now, maybe I would never have smelt the bank. But be that as it may, it was a wonderful experience being in the bank.
Talking about fulfilling your passion as an African woman, these days we all know it's actually not quite easy for a woman to wake up one morning and say, okay, you had so many supports from loved ones when you decided such decision. But it's actually not easy for a person, let's say a breadwinner of a family, now she is in a law firm and she knows that's not exactly what she wants. Maybe she wants to be a baker or something. What steps should that person take?
Well, there is no easy decision. For even the one that is very wealthy and take it. Let's look at moving house.
Yes.
I mean, you've stayed in this neighborhood for so long, and you have to move house, and people don't understand it. The reluctance. You have gotten used to that kind of environment. That's why sometimes you see people, they live in one neighborhood and then they're looking for houses within that neighborhood, and you're wondering. So change is very difficult for whoever it is. But if a change must take place, it should take place. So if you're a woman who wants to make a change in your career, number one thing you know is that it is not going to be easy. And you should get sufficient education in what you want to do. How do you hope to turn that thing you want to go to into money that will sustain your family? Now, you may not make all the money, the kind of money that you make, but it's one step at a time. Let me give you an example. When I was leaving the bank, I told my children that there might be some tightening of the belt too. I mean, their father is there to provide, but the things that I want to do, maybe we used to do before, hang out in Chinese restaurant, hang out here, hang out there, I'm going to limit it so it's going to be sacrifice that everybody is expected to make. But mommy deserves to be happy. Mommy deserves to wake up in the morning with a song in her heart. Mommy deserves, to know that what that dream that God placed in her heart, that ambition as a young child, that she's fulfilling it. Because mommy is a human being who needs to be happy. So I think everybody has to understand that if she's married, the children too, they have to understand that, and it's not all money. There is more. I'm sure now as a presenter, if you leave here and someone says, please come and interview somebody, interview people from now till night, you're not going to protest. Somebody else will say, but aren't you tired? Say, no, I'm enjoying myself. Yes. So we need to enjoy ourselves. The women need to enjoy ourselves. Yes, the financial responsibility is there, but all it means is you begin to make some adjustments in your life. And then I knew that I was going to leave the bank. I felt strongly in my heart that I was going to leave the bank. So I did a lot of aggressive savings. So when people bring things to the office and everybody is buying and I want to buy, I say, no. Because I read one place that says in the first 6 months that you leave a place, you should be able to, sustain your lifestyle before the money starts to come. So I opened savings account for my children, opened investments, went to many companies. If you just tell me about something, I will, and it helped. And I tied my salary to all of it. So as they're paying me salary, money is disappearing. Because before I made up my mind to move, you just be this so generous. I mean, there's nothing wrong with generosity, but you have to plan for your life. So you have a lot of money. So what I did was I tied. So if you ask me for money and I say I don't have, it's not because I'm a witch or I don't want to give you, but because I've tied to investment. So for the next 2 years after I left the bank, next 2.5 years after I left the bank, I was comfortable. I could meet my needs. So those are some of the things that you need to strategize. Then most importantly is you look at the creativity that you're bringing. You are a baker, you want to go and bake. It's not enough. People talk about business plans. Those are very important. Then you ask yourself, there's so much thinking. Your thought process, there's so much thinking that will go into, in the year before you finally take the step. Man, you should be thinking. You should have a handy note and be writing. You should be thinking, you should be plotting, you should be planning. For example, if I said that I was just going to leave to write, we know that Nigerians have poor reading culture.
Yes.
We do. So what did I do? I knew I was going to write a resource book that would be evergreen. So I did the children's literature and I've done some resource book. The first book is that one, Even with Talent. I've done one on banking, the effects of working in the bank, the psychological, sociological, and all the effects of working in the bank. It's a book. By next year, by God's grace, I should present that to the public. I have a parenting book, that I'm calling What My Mother Taught Me. because I had a very smart mother. And so if you read that, it's like a parenting book, because she didn't teach me wrongly, she taught me rightly. So those 3 books, I know they're different from the romance. I love romance. I like a lot of romance. But people can read the romance, but I decided to be strategic. So even with talent, I expect to get calls. Madam, can we have 10 copies? Can we have 20 copies for our graduating class? Can you supply us with 1,000 copies? I mean, that's the kind of mindset. So that's being strategic. So please, whoever it is that wants to go, be strategic in your movement.
Thank you. Let's go on a quick break. Please, no, go on in there.
Your body bang, bang, your body bang, 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 your body bang, bang, your body bang. Fire. And I give us when you take a selfie, when you take a pose, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend the low, I'm okay when you take a selfie. When you take a photo, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend it low.
Want to shoot a dope music video at 50% discount?
50% discount?
Yeah, 50% discount. Bougie Down to Television Nigerian with world-class equipment and a badass expert crew.
Oga, face your camera now. Shh. Continue.
Where was I? Everything extra.
Carolina, you bad.
Hurry up.
I know say you know this thing you did do, my girl, say you know.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is Mata Africa on Television Nigeria. Today we're talking about actualizing your talent and passion, and with me is Mrs. Chinyere Obi Obasi. Welcome back, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Now, before we went on the break, we talked about change. How easy do you think it is for an African woman, especially, to go after her dream?
Well, it's not very easy, but it can be done. It can actually be done. It's not very easy. It's not. I found it so difficult that I had to give it a full chapter in my book. There's a chapter I call Women and Talent, because I said a place in it. To be a woman, everybody feels that they have to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Your husband wants to dictate to you. So a husband might even before getting married has a dream of, I want my wife to be a complete housewife, I'm the one who will labor. Or he wants his wife to be a teacher, she'll go to work in the morning, come back by 2. Apart from your husband, your in-laws too might have a say, hey, how can we have a wife who is on TV, and saying that she's doing acting? Please, that is not somehow. We saw one man holding hands and he's our wife. Your children too. There are things that you tell your children you want to do. Maybe tell your children, I want to go into comment, stand up coming, mommy, at this age. They start to think of all the people, if the mommy doesn't make people laugh, the people that will laugh at them, what people will say, mommy is somehow. So the woman has layers of authority. People that want to tell her what to do. But the bulk stops at her table.
Yeah.
She is a human being. Every woman should walk along with the realization that I am first and foremost a human being, and that I deserve to be happy. I deserve to have a say in what happens to me as a human being. And then they should be responsible about it and be able to carry out the things that make them happy.
Okay, now you talked about your son as a poet, your daughter a photographer. How were you able to guide and harness their area of gifting?
Well, I was lucky many years ago to understand that at the end of the day, it's not your education that will do the trick. I got that inspiration that your talent and your gifts will make a way for you. I don't know how. If I tell you that I know exactly at that point, well, I think it also had to do with my life, having read English, And then I read law. Then I went to law school. Then I practiced law for 7 years. And I've worked in the bank for 13 years. It just looked like I was running around in circle. So if I wasn't going to practice law to full time, why did I bother to read it? And having read it, why am I in the bank? What am I doing in the bank? What are my chances of becoming the MD in the bank without being chartered, without having strong accounting background? So, and now look at where I've come back full circle to becoming a beginner at some of those things. So I said, it won't happen to my children. I will help my children to discover who they are early enough so that they can start running early enough to achieve their target. If you look at the history of someone like Ali Baba, a very strong mentor of mine, Ali Baba left school, started practicing comedy in school, and left school. And from that time till today, he has been intentional. So the only thing that can happen is that you continue to fine-tune your skills to that perfection level. So I decided that I was going to help my children. But you know what I do? It's like a lot of people now see me, they say, I want my child this holiday to go and learn sewing. I want my child this holiday. No! We are different. You are supposed to look at your children to find out exactly where their calling lies. And then you can now groom them. If not, you can now help them, or when they get up to maybe 5 years after university, they come back to you and say, Mommy, you know, it looks like I was being forced to do that to you because it's not just me. And you have wasted all your time, all your resources, and probably start crying, but then you made the mistake. So, as a mother, your instincts are very strong. As a mother, you should spend more time with your children and be able to learn them. My first daughter, at first, she likes fiddling with my hair. So when she was in JSS 3, I sent her the holiday. I sent her to a salon. A responsible girl owns the salon, Chica. And she finished, and then she comes out and she says to me, Mommy, I'm not really sure I want to do hairdressing. I said, no, it's not like you're going to be a hairdresser, Mommy. And not. But then, funny enough, the girl told me that she behaved herself well, that she was the best apprentice that she had, obeying instructions. So I started looking at her, studying her, and I found out that when we go to take pictures, she opts to take the pictures. You know, when you want to take pictures, everybody wants to be in the picture, but she wants to take the picture, and she doesn't care that she's not appearing in the picture. And then when she goes to take the picture, she doesn't just take the picture. She has to come and do everybody's neck, your shoulder, your dress is sticking out. Those things that people don't notice. So I began to feel that she has an eye for detail, and that means that photography might be it. Secondly, she has a very good voice. Very, very good voice. Even when she's talking to me, I tell her, I say, your voice sounds like music. When she's speaking to you on the phone, it's like music. I say, your voice is so musical. And she sings high notes. And so what did I do? I took her through, she went for a lot of music classes, vibrato. I didn't know all of that. It was from her I knew. And she also, I enrolled her in photography classes, bought her camera, and she started. And then one day she comes to me and says, Mommy, I don't really want to be a musician. Though I know I can sing very well, but it's not really. I think I like photography. I think I really, really like photography. I say, fine. I'm just exposing you to the things I think that are your person. And I always say, at any point in time when you are tired, don't just call me and say, Mommy, I'm tired. And I will let you go. I'm not being oppressive. It's your life. I want you to have a good life. I want to tell parents, that there are so many professions that are yet to be discovered.
Yes.
So it's not a case of sewing and cooking. Skill businesses yet to be. They should just, tune into their inner mind where their children are concerned.
Okay, now everybody has a role model in life that you look up to. So who were your role model?
For me, you don't have to have one role model, and then you can have different role models for different situations.
Okay.
So my mother was a role model because she was a selfless kind of mother that I've not seen anywhere.
Okay.
She was hardworking, she was selfless.
Okay.
She taught me contentment. Then when it comes to career, I look up to Ali Baba a lot. I look up to how he has selflessly raised a lot of people. And I've made friends with him intentionally. And, to guide me, I follow him, I read what he writes, I follow his thought process. When you come to family, I have a friend, Mrs. Ajemu, who is happily married. I look at her, I relate with her to know how she runs her home and the little things that I don't do that she gets right.
Okay.
So I have different role models for those kind of situations.
Okay, on a quick one, what are your advice to women who are fearful to embrace their passion?
Fearful. Sometimes it's good to give to look for reasons for failure. So anybody can put it, why are you not following your plan? I'm really afraid. Everybody is afraid. So I don't think that it's just because of fear. They haven't made up their mind. Laziness might be inside. Somebody might just be acutely lazy. I remember that my mother said when she married my daddy, it was like, don't work, I'll be the breadwinner. And she worked. She said, okay, can I have a business in the house? Can I run a business in the house? I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to visit. I'm not going to say, yes, run the business in the house. Don't leave the house. I want you to take care of my children. And so when my daddy started seeing the results of the business in the house, when she says, can I now go out? Instead of this, we're bringing the goods. Can I go and buy? Yes, you can go and buy. Then they said, this place has become too small for me. Can I venture out? And before you know it, she has a business. So where there is a will, there is always a way.
Thank you very much, Mama.
Thank you.
And that's the much we have on today's episode. And remember, ladies, you can become anything you set your mind to be. I'm Zoira Hamza. Bye for now.